Hi, Eduardo. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about your background. I understand you're Mexican and you come from a Catholic family. What kind of family life did you have growing up?
Well, my my name is Eduardo Verastegui, and I am from a very small town, northern Mexico called Jicotencatl in the state of Tamaulipas. That's where I grew up. I am the oldest brother. I'm the only son. I have three younger sisters, Alicia, Alejandra, and Daniela. They are like my three angels, and my father wanted me to be a lawyer, so I went to a law school because I was the oldest son, and I, of course, I love my father. I wanted to please him, and I was like the one that responsible because again I have three younger sisters and everything. And I was always following the guidance of my father. So I went to law school, but then after the second semester, I realized that I was not passionate about being a lawyer. I was not. That was not my vocation. And then I really became a rebel soul. I was like the black sheep of the house. Maybe because I was very spoiled in the beginning. I was the first son, the first grandson. So they gave me everything, and I really thought I was the last Coke in the desert, and that I deserved to be treated like a king. And so when they really find out, my parents, that the way I was behaving was not the best way. So of course they're trying to fix things, but then sometimes it's like too late, because I was already like when they say no to something, what do you mean no, and so I was very mad and anger, and so I left school.
You left law school.
Law school after the second semester, and then I moved to Mexico City to pursue my dream. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a singer. I was curious to see if I really was going to like this career, and I wanted to try it at least. So I moved there and I started working as a model first, and I went to visit some model agencies. I was 18 years old, so I started working as a model, and then I started studying acting, and then professionally I started singing in a boy band called Cairo. For 3.5 years I recorded with them 2 albums and traveled all over Latin America promoting my music, and that's how I started my career. Of course, my father was very upset, disappointed, because his only son, the oldest one, left school, and he wanted to be an artist, and he was like he couldn't understand that. It was really tough for him, and now I understand, of course, and I feel really bad. I'm so sorry how I did things, the means that I used to do all these things, and were not very they were not the best means, and of course, I caused a lot of problems in my house, and my parents, of course, they were really worried about me, and because imagine, a small town of 15,000 people, to move to a city of more than 22 million people where I didn't know anybody pretty much, and it's dangerous, you worry about your children, of course, I mean, so.
And what was your lifestyle like there as a boy band? I mean, you have lots of girls running after you, and what was it like?
The lifestyle of someone that is singing in a boy band is not going to be very healthy, because can you imagine, next thing you know, we were singing in front of stadiums of 50,000 people, girls yelling at you and screaming and telling you all these beautiful things that you want to hear, so you lose perspective of everything, you really feel the last Coke in the desert, and traveling all over, Latin America, and meeting all kind of people, and it was dangerous, I really I was seduced by the environment, and I was working really hard, but at the same time, it was very superficial. Everything was very superficial. Everything was just the money, the fame, women, pleasure, success, and many other things. So I was like in this bubble of vanity and ego and selfishness, and you little by little you start dying. Spiritually, you start dying until something needs to happen to you to open your eyes. Otherwise you die. So then the boy band was not enough for me. So I left the group. I stopped singing with them, and then I started doing soap operas in Mexico. And in Mexico, if you want to make a living as an actor, you don't have so many options like in the United States or here in England. Over there, you either do soap operas or soap operas, and you stuck on that. So that's what I did for almost. Well, now things change, but at that time, that was talking about almost 10 years ago, a little bit more. So I did like 5 soap operas in Mexico. Each one of them, lasted for 1 year, and after that I moved to Miami, the capital of Latin America, the capital of Latina music. If you want to be involved in music, in Spanish, Miami is the place to be. So I moved there. I recorded my first solo album in Spanish, and again I was traveling all over Latin America promoting my music. So one day I received a call from from Jennifer Lopez management team, and they invited me to do a music video with Jennifer Lopez. So they asked me if I knew how to dance flamenco, and I said yes, of course. Of course I didn't. But at that time, I was taught in acting classes that you have to say yes to everything, right? So next thing you know, I was in Miami. I flew to Los Angeles and I met her. I told the choreographer that actually, you know what, I know how to dance salsa, but flamenco, I can learn, but I'm not a professional dancer. Don't worry, Eduardo, we'll help you here. So anyway, so we did the video and came back to Miami, and then again I was flying from Miami to Los Angeles to promote my music. And on the plane, I was sitting with my manager, and besides him was this other person who happens to be the VP of casting for 20th Century Fox. Making a long story short, he invited me to do an audition for a film he was working, and I told him that I didn't speak English. I told him, I know how to count, I know how to say I'm hungry, French fries, what is your name, things like that, but I never studied English. When I was 14 years old, I moved to a very small town in Oklahoma as an exchange student program to learn English, for 1 year. But after a few months, I broke my arm playing arm wrestle, and I didn't have a medical insurance, so my parents were really worried. So they sent me back. So I didn't learn anything. The very few words that I learned, I never practiced that again, and I forgot everything. So anyway, this casting director told me, "Don't worry, why don't you just memorize the 5 pages of the audition and give it a try? And we're looking for a Mexican actor with a thick and natural accent." I said, "Okay, well, I can do that." So I hired an English teacher. I memorized the entire, 5 pages. I did the audition. I got the part. Moved to LA, immersed myself in the language. Next thing you know, I was already living in Los Angeles. I left music back, and my biggest dream finally was about to be real. From a very small town, northern Mexico, to Hollywood. The American dream was about to be, real. I had 15 people working for me, managers, agents, publicists, lawyers, the whole team. I finished the movie, the Chasing Papi, and I was very confused because after 10 years of working really hard in music, television, film, modeling, etc., I thought I had everything in my life. But in the other side, in my heart, I had nothing. I was very empty, very confused, because I didn't know what was going on. Something was missing, but I didn't know what it was. I needed help. But I didn't know who to ask, for help. And at that time, my English was very poor. I've only been speaking English for a few years. Sometimes I don't even understand myself. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because
no, I do. I was wondering with the noise if it was interfering.
Yeah, no, because sometimes I don't even understand myself, and because I really never study English. I just from watching movies and talking to friends and everything. And when you are 28 and you start from zero, another language is very hard. When you're a child, you can learn everything so fast. But anyway, now it's been a few years, and I think it's getting better every day. But anyway, I was very confused because I didn't know how to express. In all my friends at that time in LA were Americans, so I didn't know how to express to them what I was going through. I was empty. I was looking for something more meaningful in my life. My managers didn't understand what I was going through. Finally, I met a wonderful person who was my English teacher at that time, who not only taught me English but changed my life. And she is the one that helped me to put things together, and she's the one that started asking me a lot of questions, very smart questions, using the Socratic method. What is the purpose of life, Eduardo? How are you using your talents? Who's guiding your life? Are you assuming the responsibilities that you have to assume as a public image, as an actor? Who are you? Where are you going? Things like that. What kind of a message are you sending to our society? Why are you doing these projects? How are you choosing your projects? And after 6 months of very meaningful conversations, I realized that I was using my talents in a very selfish way. That the reasons why I wanted to be an actor in the beginning were very superficial reasons. Everything was money, fame, success, etc. I was not assuming the responsibilities that I had to assume. I forgot that whatever project I was involved, whether I like it or not, was going to affect how people think, how they live, how they behave, how they dream, how etc. I realized that media influenced how people think, and I was not part of the solution. I was part of the problem. In my opinion, I was poisoning our society. So of course I repent, and I regret it of everything that I did in the past. Many things. I did everything. And I wish I can go back and erase everything, but that's life. And all I can do is just to regret and repent, and to ask God to forgive me. Especially what broke my heart was when I realized that I was offending God with the talents that He gave me, and I told Him to forgive me, and not only He forgave me for everything that I did, but He changed my heart and my life. He made a new man. He gave me a new vision, a new mission. He cleaned my soul, and I made a promise to Him that I will never work in any project that will offend my faith, my family, or my Latino culture.
And what was the effect of that when you made that decision? That's quite a radical decision.
It was tough to make that radical decision, because all the offers that I was receiving, they were talking about all the things that I promised that I will never do. So I started saying no to things, turning down things, saying no and no and no, and eventually, you have to make a living. My friends, they thought I went crazy. My managers, they didn't understand what I was going through. Members of my family, they thought that I was too fanatic and too radical, and nobody understood really what I was going through. But I was in peace, and I was happy, and I knew that I was doing the right thing.
What kind of were you like working as a waiter, or how did you support yourself, or had you earned enough money to live?
Well, at that time, because I worked for 10 years, so I had a lot of savings that helped me to survive. And then I had many. I love paintings. So I had a collection of art that I started selling all the paintings. Until I sold pretty much everything, and all my savings, they were disappearing, and so that helped me to survive for 4 years, and saying no to things.
Did you have any doubts that had God let you down, or how were you feeling?
Well, I think it was a combination of many things. In the beginning, of course, is fear, because can you imagine you develop some so many habits in your life, and next thing you know, you're in control of everything, you know, and then at the age of 28, you realize that 80% of what you're doing is wrong, and you have to let go to many habits and friendships and things that you were doing that you thought were okay. So of course it's a lot of fear, you know, and insecurity and doubts, and what should I do now, and what if the price of following this new path is the end of my career? What if I never work again? Because 4 years of not working, what if I'm gonna be here, you know, waiting until something, you know, comes into my hands where man will be portrayed as a real man, and what if that never happens, and what if I never work? And so of course it's a lot of doubts in the beginning, but then eventually, you know, it's a process of purification. That's why I didn't want it to be in Hollywood anymore, and I went to see a priest, and this is the priest that was guiding me at that time, and this is the priest that I visit in the beginning so he can hear my confession. And I told him, I went to talk to this priest, and I told him, Father, I want to leave this place. I wanted to become a missionary, and I want to go to the jungle in Brazil, in the Amazons, to help the poor, and to discern what God wants from me, and to clean all this dust that I had in my soul for all the sins that I did in my past. So I need this, you know, this career. I don't like this career anymore. I know that before was everything for me, but now you know, it's all about vanity and ego, and it's very superficial, and it's you know, all the applause and the autograph and the pictures, everything. I think that can destroy your soul eventually, and the awards and the recognition and the magazines and the interviews and all those things, you know. I don't know if I'm ready, you know, anymore. Before I didn't know, but now that I know, I don't think this is for me. So I really want to give 2 years of my life to Christ, doing missionary work in this place. And he said, you're crazy. Hollywood is a bigger jungle. Hollywood doesn't belong to the studios. Hollywood belongs to back, and we need to take it back. You know, a lot of people talk about the big economic crisis, for example, right now, but I think it's a bigger crisis now in our days, and worse than the economic crisis is the crisis of values. And we need to do something to rescue those values back, and to put things together, you know, back together. So I think you stay here, you know, but Father, I'm alone. I don't know anyone here who thinks the way how I think. I said, well, hold on. God plus one is an army, and it's more than one out there. You haven't met them yet, so you're not alone. And if God is with us, who can be against us? Just open your heart, and you see what, you know. You see what will happen, you know. Anyway, so this priest helped me a lot, and he convinced me to stay there, and I told him, but as an actor, it's going to be very hard because I don't have the power to control the message, the moral content. So I have to submit myself to whatever they offer you, and I have no voice out there, you know. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved in a project only because of the art. But art and morality, they have to go hand by hand, and that's how I think. And like how I used to do the opposite. So that's why I know the consequences and the huge impact that when you do art without morality, you're poisoning, you know, the world, really. So he said, why don't you just open a production company and you do it yourself, so you can have the power to control the message. So he inspired me to open a production company, and that's what I did, you know. I sat at my house in a sofa with in front of a little table with a cell phone with two friends that I met that they were going through the same things that I was going through. Alejandro Monteverde, who is graduated from film school in Austin, Texas. He's from Mexico, and he wanted to direct films, and he said, I only want to be involved in projects that will have the potential to not only to entertain but to make a difference, elevating human dignity. And I said, that's what I want to do. So, and then Leo Severino, he was working in 20th Century Fox as a lawyer, and at the same time he was teaching theology and philosophy, and he's a lawyer. And one day he was in Mass, and we met. A few months later he left Fox, and he helped us to start this company. and we started Metanoia Films. Metanoia is a Greek word that means turn into God, and we put this company together with the hope of making movies that will not only that will entertain, but that will light a candle in the hearts of everyone that will see our movies. Movies that when people will see them, they will leave wanting to love more and judge less, forgiving more, complaining less. Movies that can heal. For me, art has the potential to heal. To heal what? Well, the wounds that we all have in our hearts, in our souls. What wounds? Well, I can write a book about that. Envy, jealousy, anger. Everything that we have in our heart that doesn't allow us to see with clarity. Broken hearts. We're all broken. We all need help. We all experience moments of sadness and depression and loneliness, and we need to be fixed. Our nature is broken, and
that was how Bella came about then.
Well, Bella is the fruit of this mission, of course. After we put this company together to make films that matter, and a few months later, we met. I met with the priest who convinced me not to leave Hollywood, and he invited me to meet the Holy Father John Paul II. So I flew to Rome and hold his hand, and I told him, Holy Father, we have a production company called Metanoia Films. He, prayed for us, gave me his blessing, and 10 days later we met a wonderful family from Philadelphia who believe and trust in the mission that we have, and who wanted to change, who wanted to participate in changing the culture through the media. So they helped us and gave us the money and helped us to put everything together. And months later we went to New York. We shot the film in New York. Bella, written by Alejandro Monteverde, my business partner, inspired a true story, and we shot the film in 23 days, and then we sent it to Toronto Film Festival, one of the biggest film festivals in the world, and we got selected. And after that we went to Mexico. We dedicated this film to Our Lady Guadalupe, and then we did a 9 days novena to Saint Maximiliano Kolbe, and the movie won the film festival, the People's Choice Award, by the grace of God. It was really an amazing experience, and that helped us a lot, put us in the map, and then we distributed the movie in America.
Have you had problems distributing the movie?
In the beginning, yes. Actually, Hollywood was not interested in promoting a movie like Bella. All of them told us no from the beginning. They say no from the beginning, before the movie was made. We knocked the doors and we asked them, this is what we want to do, and they were not interested. So we had to do everything ourselves, from development, raising the money, pre-production, production, post-production, distribution, marketing, publicity, everything. We end up doing everything. We raise the money, we distribute the film ourselves, because after winning Toronto a year later, not one distributor.
Even though you won the prize.
Yeah, even though we won the prize.
Why do you think they're not interested in it?
Well, some people that work in the distribution companies tell us that the movie had not enough age, which means darkness, perversion, sex, violence, drugs, etc. So.
Would you like to just? I've seen the film, but would you like to just tell us briefly what the story of the film?
Well, Bella is not about promoting violence or perversion. It's the opposite. The hope of Bella was to light a candle in people's hearts, and not to turn off the light in your heart, but to light a light. It's a love story, a different love story, a true love, when someone is willing to sacrifice everything to help someone that is in need without expecting anything in return. It's about a man who had everything in his life. I mean, what he thought was everything, and something really, heavy happened in his life where he lost everything. So it's a man who had everything, he lost it all, But in losing it all, he found everything that matters in life, which is family, true love, true friendship, and many other beautiful things. And the movie shows you that there comes a time in everyone's life when a moment will change your life forever, and life will never be the same again. And if it hasn't happened to you, it will. So it's a movie about family, about love, and about life. It's a powerful story. It's very abstract, with the beautiful colors and beautiful cinematography. And we play with time a lot, past, present, and future. And I think my hope is that this film will be shown here in England.
It's got a very pro-life message, hasn't it? I understand you did some research at an abortion clinic, and then that had its own fruit. Would you like to tell that story?
Yes. Well, when I was preparing for my role, I play a character named Jose, and Jose is a guy that meet with this other person, Nina, who is pregnant and who she wants to have an abortion because she thinks abortion is her only exit. This is a broken soul, and I mean the movie is about two broken souls helping each other to heal each other, So anyway, because a few weeks before we started shooting this movie, we didn't have the actress. We couldn't find the actress, so I was very nervous because I wanted to rehearse with her, and I didn't have the actress to rehearse with. So what I did is I decided to go to an abortion clinic to meet with the real Nina in person, and talk to her so I can write notes for my character, so I can understand the pain that she was going through. And I thought it was going to be something very simple, meet the first young lady and ask her a few questions and interview her, and that's it, right? When I got there very early in the morning, and I saw these girls going in, 15, 16, 17, pregnant girls going in to have abortions, I was in shock because I didn't know until that time that if you have a daughter that is 13 years old, she cannot drive a car because she's a minor. She cannot smoke or drink alcohol, obviously, because she's minor. But she can have a secret abortion without her parents, knowing what she's doing, and that for me was really shocking. And so anyway, I forgot about my movie Bella. I just didn't know what to do. I wanted to talk to them, but I didn't know what I should tell them because I didn't have the information or the education to talk to young ladies that are going through these problems, and these difficulties. So I approached this group of people that were trying to convince them not to do it. So I told them that I was from Mexico, and next thing you know, they thought I was one of them, and this couple from Mexico were arriving, and one of the girls who was working in this group of advisors and told me, Eduardo, this couple are from Mexico, they don't speak English, we don't speak Spanish, can you please talk to them? Next thing you know, I was in front of this couple, and they recognized me from television, and they told me, Eduardo, what are you doing here? And I said, well, what are you doing here? So anyway, we ended up talking for an hour about everything, life, Mexico, our culture, faith, about everything. She cried, I cried, we became friends. We exchanged phone numbers. I gave her a teddy bear, I gave her a stroller, and I showed her a video on abortion. And she changed her mind, and she lost her appointment. And I was very happy, of course. She left, and I called her the next day, and I told her, you're not alone. We met for a reason. I don't believe in coincidence. This is Godcidence. So I just want to let you know. I want you to know that you're not alone. I really want to help you, and you're my sister now. So we became really good friends, and eventually we found the actress. I moved to New York. I shot the movie Bella in New York, and really, to be with her that day outside of the abortion clinic helped me a lot to understand. All those thousands and thousands of women that they see abortion as their only exit. And I understood that for me, it helped me to understand that the only exit is love, sacrificial love. When you are willing to sacrifice everything for someone, without expecting anything in return. Anyway, so that helped me a lot to understand her character and to bring more truth to my character. And eventually we finished the movie Bella. I moved to back to Los Angeles, and I received a call a few months later from the man who was with this woman outside the abortion clinic, who became my friend. He was the father of the baby, and he calls me and tells me, Eduardo, I have a great news. My baby was born yesterday, and I want to ask your permission because I would love to call my baby Eduardo. And I couldn't even talk to him. It was really it was a beautiful moment, because I never thought in a million years that by me going there just to do some research for my character, months later I was going to be carrying a baby named Eduardito. And that baby changed my life. It was like my little son right there, and beautiful experience. Even I thought to myself, even if we never make this movie Bella, I will rejoice in the Lord for this miracle that has no price. And this was only one story of many other stories that I experienced. The second story was about another girl who was, a friend of mine called me one day and told me, Eduardo, I need a big favor. After seeing your movie Bella, I was inspired by Jose, your character. Anyway, I just want you to I want to ask you a big favor. Can you please call my friend, because his girlfriend is pregnant, and tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning they have a schedule to have an abortion. And so I called this guy and talked to him for 20 minutes. And I said, man, I know that you are going through something really hard and difficult, and you know what, if you don't want your baby, give it to me. I'm willing to adopt it. And the reason why I said that is because after watching my own movie Bella more than 200 times, I was inspired by Jose, my character, who adopted baby in the movie. And to the point that I said one day, I want to become like Jose in real life, and I would love to adopt one day. So I thought, this is my opportunity to become like Jose. Give me your baby. And I'm working with groups that promote adoption, who help us to promote Bella. They really help me to understand that there is nothing more beautiful than to give a child a home. But not only a home, but a family that will love them. So I realized that adoption is a win-win situation, because the child gift the gift of parenthood and motherhood. So anyway, give it to me. I'm willing to adopt it. It was silence for like, I don't know how many seconds, 10, 20 seconds. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm a father now, Anyway, he canceled the appointment. I was living in Los Angeles. I flew to Miami. I showed him and his girlfriend the movie Bella. And make a long story short, a year and a half ago, the baby was born, and they called her Bella. And again, when I was having the baby here in my arms and I was looking at her, another miracle that has no price, And more than 100 babies have been saved now that we know of. Incredible. Only God knows how many more, and I hope thousands, But it's just amazing,
It's interesting because that I saw the film Bella here in London with the Franciscan friars. In fact, Roberta was one who took me, and then I got a couple of copies and I showed it in our church, and it made me wonder that, and maybe this is like going to be a new way, because bypassing the big distribution things, because it actually creates a different environment. When it's like a small group, rather than going to a cinema and you kind of go and you leave.
Yes.
It's a sort of like a underground kind of change.
Well, that's what it is, it was underground, a lot of grassroots marketing that we did in United States, schools, college, universities, pro-life events, churches, and it was amazing how even the movie brought the church together, because it was evangelicals and Protestants and Catholics coming together to support this message of life and family, and that's been my prayer always, the unity of the church, bringing the church together, and when you are involved in a movie that brings, Christians together, I know that that's the Holy Spirit, because He's one, and it's only one truth, and it's only one church, it's only one faith, and it's only one body, and one Father, one Son, one Holy Spirit, one pastor, So I think art is very powerful to heal everything that has happened.
To help form people's minds, doesn't it? And it's got lots of awards. When I went on your website, there was like, Citizen, you've got lots of recognition, amazingly, isn't it?
Well,
lots of awards and things.
It's even if you are doing something good and recognition and awards come to you, it's still something very dangerous that I'm trying always to find ways of escaping. I don't know if you want to call it escaping, but I want to make sure that those things doesn't really hurt your soul, because vanity is always there, and everything is vanity really, and always trying to please everyone, and we're not golden medals, we cannot please everyone,
So do you find it difficult then?
It's difficult, yeah, of course it's difficult,
all the time. So before you loved it, and now
it's the same in a different way,
but now you don't love it anymore.
Because it's just it's not that you don't love it, it's because you love it too much. What is dangerous, and so it's try to find ways where how it's like a balloon. If you put gas, it flies, right? It needs to, how do you call that in English? Punch, and so the balloon can go back to Earth, right? Every single time that you receive, even though you know that it's for the glory of God, and it's not for you, it's still something in your human nature that can be like a little gas that goes into your big balloon, and then you go up, so you need those how do you say that again? Punches, pinches, or whatever, and I think that is humiliation. I think when you are, because no one likes humiliation, no one likes being humiliated because it's painful. It goes against you, you don't want that because it causes you it causes pain, But I think that's the way how you can be bringing back.
You can realize that God uses things that are difficult things.
Yeah, and it happened, many times where when I'm like, something happened that was great news, and I'm like all happy and everything, I know that something's gonna happen soon, and then something happened where it balanced me, because, and it's good, and even the saints were always praying for, send me, give me some humiliation, because they needed that, they needed to be, shake, and I think that's very healthy, and for example, negative media, negative press, when the press attacks me because they don't like something that I did or whatever, that's a great way of just when they're trying to when there's so many lies about you or something, that they're trying to destroy your reputation because you said something in an interview that somebody was offended because of my faith and the things that I stand for, like in pro-life and traditional marriage, sacred union between man and a woman. Some people they feel like I'm judging them because I'm saying these things, and that has nothing to do with the judgment. It's just I'm saying the things that the Lord said, and I'm just I didn't create those things. I didn't invent anything. I'm just I decided to put my faith in all these teachings, and but without judging anyone. I think everybody deserves to be loved and respected. We are all equal in dignity, regardless regardless everything, but that doesn't mean that we need to change the definition of certain teachings, like marriage, for example. Marriage always is going to be a sacred union between a man and a woman, and we need to define those definitions. And but again, if you don't explain this with details, a lot of people can take things out of context and can really feel judged, and they come back with fire, but again, those kind of negative press,
it's good for you.
It's good for me because they help me, because then they destroy all this good work that you're doing, and of course hurts because my reputation and everything. But you know what? Only God knows everything. Okay. He's the one that's going to be judging you.
And in a sense, your fame has given you an opportunity a platform, really, that people are interested in what you've got to say.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what fame in itself is not good or bad. It depends how you use it. As you said, it's a great window. It's a great platform to get the microphone and to speak. I'm not saying anything new. You go to every church, every mass, daily mass or Sunday mass, and the priest has been saying this since 2,000 years ago when Jesus founded the church. The only difference is I don't have the habit. or it's it's coming from a Hollywood actor. So, but it's the same. I'm not saying anything new. I'm just repeating what the church has been teaching for years.
And have you got any more projects?
Yes.
With Metanoia Films, what's coming up?
Well, we have a film fund that we're putting together of $100 million to finance 5 to 7 films. We received the first part, which is the development part, to finish 5 to 7 scripts. And right now we're meeting with some potential Catholic investors around the world, in Spain, Mexico, United States, and some other countries, and who are interested in changing the culture, the culture of death to a culture of life through the media. And I'm praying so the Lord put the right team together, because we have, of course, the creative side, but we need the financial side too, so we can do this thing together. So we're meeting with some people, and we'll see if we can raise this money so we can take our company to the next level and make more movies with bigger budgets, all with the same heart and soul, same message, but different genres.
What kind? Have you got any stories in the pipeline?
We have some stories right now, but they're not ready yet. We have a movie called Little Boy. We have another one called Mother, which is the life of Mother Teresa, in it with a different angle, very powerful. A few others out there. I got offered to play the role of Peter in a movie called Kingdom Come, produced by Barry Osborne, the one who produced Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. It's a big movie, but that one, because of the crisis, is in standby right now. It's a $160 million budget film. That's not Metanoia. That's another production company, and I got offered to play the role of Peter. So right now we're just waiting if they're gonna raise the money or not. So pray for Kingdom Come, and a few other projects out there, but
so it's like possible. It's God is opening the way.
Yes, He's opening the door,
possible.
and it is possible. With Him, all things are possible, and art and morality, they have to go hand by hand, and that's what we're trying to do. Projects that are very very rich artistically, but at the same time, the message, the positive message has to be there.
Do you think there is a change in Hollywood at the moment? I mean, if you're saying this is this $160 million Kingdom Come one,
the money's not there.
The money's not there yet, but in a sense that the fact they're even thinking of making it.
But it's not Hollywood. It's other people. Well, it depends what Hollywood is. I think we cannot put Hollywood in one box, because what makes Hollywood is the people. I believe that the majority of the people that are in Hollywood, in my opinion, they have a very heavy agenda, to destroy, everything that has to do with what the church teaches. But it's few other people that are hope in Hollywood, that are doing the opposite, that are trying to use media to speak the truth, and to promote everything that is beautiful, good, and truth. And it's many people out there that are doing it, and eventually those people are going to be Hollywood people too. Even though our people are coming from other places, eventually are going to be producers from Hollywood, just like us in Metanoia, But I think it's hope out there, and that's why we put together a group that is called Hollywood Media Center, with Hollywood, one L out. Mm-hmm. So I work not in Hollywood, but in Hollywood, and it's designed to bring people together, to give them information, to train them morally, and to study ethics in the art, so we can be more responsible. So whenever we're going to be producing something, at least we have information that will help us to be more free. Because freedom is not to do whatever you want, but to do what you ought to do, and to do the right thing. But in order for you to know what is the right thing, you need to know first what is wrong and what is right. Because the whole relativism, mentality, it's going to collapse sooner or later. The whole thing about there's no such a thing as one truth. Who says that? Is that truth? I mean, that doesn't mean anything. So I believe in truth, and it's hope in Hollywood.
So this Hollywood Centre, this is like a formation centre. For actors and
it's going to be a Catholic formation centre that will bring all Christians together and give them information. We'll have Bible studies, and the whole vision eventually is going to be a Catholic identity center right in the center of Hollywood, that will shine, the entire world, in that place that is so powerful, that is called Hollywood, and that's where Hollywood Media Center is going to be. It exists right now. We just started a couple months ago, and by the grace of God, I hope it will grow and grow and grow.
And are your Eduardo, Alejandro and Leo Severino, are they involved in this as well?
Yes, okay. Yes. Anyone that is, that wants to use the media to make a difference is going to be somehow involved in Hollywood Media Center.
That's really wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much.
And for more information, eventually 1 month from now, the website is going to be working. It's hollywoodmediacenter.com. Don't forget to take one L out. Okay, hollywoodmediacenter.com.
Okay, brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.